So Vikash, if you can just say hi to everyone and then we'll take it forward.
So first I'll say hi to Kunal.
Hello Vikas, glad
Hi.
to be here. Glad to be here.
I'm so glad to have you. You know, he's an old friend. I don't know how long back we go. You used to live in Khar, isn't it?
No, I used to live
Somehow
in
I have the
East Delhi.
recollection.
No, let me remind you, we met on a plane to London.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. You were sitting next to me,
Hmm.
and we got chatting, and that is how we met. And then we'd keep meeting at the club, and
Hmm.
and then I came and attended your one of your sessions at the Tote, and
Yes.
then so that's where we started off life with you and IBG.
I came to one of the shows also.
Yes, you came to see my play. That is true. That is true. Yes, I
Let me
remember
know
that.
when the next time is.
Now the next time is very, very far away. I don't think we're opening any theaters anytime soon.
I think at least a year away.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe looks tough.
So you will be introducing Kunal, so I won't talk about him.
Yes.
I think the industry is still in total shambles. Though his food part is not so bad, and even his shows, not the physical shows, online shows are going on. So we are happy about that. So you can
Thank
start
you.
now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
You
you,
can start
Vikash.
now.
Thank you. And I would also like to introduce everyone. Our CEO, Ms. Priya Pansare. Priya, can you please say hi to everyone?
Good morning, everyone.
Hello,
Vijay,
Priya. How are you?
very good,
Hello,
very
Priya.
good. I'm not going to take much time because we are all very, very excited to listen from Kunal now. So please, let's start quickly. Over to you,
Thank you.
Vijay.
Thank you. Thank you. So guys, it's an absolute pleasure for me to introduce my dear friend, Kunal Vijaykar. It's a pleasure knowing you, Kunal, and I am going to do a formality of reading your introduction because people should know whom they are listening to. So
So
Kunal,
please keep it nice and short, and don't embarrass me by praising me too much, because I don't deserve that much praise.
then I'll start saying some bad things, so then you'll not get embarrassed then.
Which is a good idea. It's a good idea, actually.
I can do that to a friend. No, I'll keep it very brief. So Kunal Vijaykar is a food writer, author, and television personality. A whole generation has watched him eat his way into the hearts of hundreds and thousands of Indians. He is India's most recognizable food show host and the anchor of country's most popular food show, The Foodie with Kunal Vijaykar, a show which ran uninterrupted for 9 years, completing close to 500 episodes, which is awesome. He also writes about food in several newspapers like Times of India, Bombay Times, DNA, and so on. And he has also authored a book, Made in India. That's his first cookbook. So he also does a show with Cyrus Bharucha, and I know it's a fun show. And there is a huge list of accolades, tongue twister. So I'm not going to read everything, but I'm absolutely happy and excited to have Kunal on the show. So welcome, Kunal. A few words, your thoughts, and then I will ask you a few questions and we can have a conversation.
Okay, first of all, thank you, Vikas, and everybody, Priya, and Dipesh, you, for calling me, inviting me. I think the IBG group is a great initiative, getting people together. And I've attended one session, and I have not managed to come for more sessions, but I am hoping that in the future I will. Having said that, we are all living through fairly tough times. I think business in general has taken quite a beating in its own way. So a lot of us are, and I can speak for myself, are depressed because we don't really know what the future is. And when I mean depressed, it's not like we're sitting and crying, but when things are so uncertain, it is obvious that we are not our normal selves. We still try to smile, laugh, and do things as normally as possible. But till life becomes really normal, I don't think we are going to become normal. And this, I speak not only for the entertainment business, I also speak for the food business. Not that I'm an authority on either of them, but still, if you keep your eyes and ears open, you know what is happening around you. So one is hoping that we can get out of these times soon. I think Zoom calls, webinars have suddenly become into our, uh, it's a lifeline. For myself, I know that when the lockdown happened and I live alone, my connection to the rest of the world was this app, the Zoom app and whatever, FaceTime and WhatsApp videos and all that. And just imagine if this thing had happened to us 15 years ago, 20 years ago, when communication was not as simple. How would the lockdown have been? When there were no delivery aggregators, food aggregators, there were no Swiggies and Zomatos. We would have had we're actually lucky to have this lockdown and this pandemic and the time that we've had it at. God forbid it had happened earlier to us. On that note, I think we should stop being so morbid and talk about happier things.
Absolutely. Well said. But I feel, so I agree with you, Kunal, that things would have been far different 20 years ago if this would have happened. But at the same time, I think panic would have been far less because our media and social media is creating a bigger panic compared to the actual situation.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Because we are so connected now, especially WhatsApps, and I implore everybody I speak to, do not believe WhatsApp forwards. My personal experience is that 99% of all WhatsApp forwards are fake. Please, unless you have a source from where that piece of news is coming, and that source is a reliable source, please don't forward it. Because this is a problem. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So on that note, I'm going to ask you my first question.
Okay.
So Kunal, you are well known as a foodie. I'm a foodie too, but you are a far bigger foodie, a famous one. So tell us some unique food experiences that you had while you traveled all over. Some of your experiences.
Look, let's put it this way, okay? I come from a fairly sheltered background. This is South Mumbai, and you go to school and you go to your club and you go to your house and you go to your immediate friends, and you really don't have any exposure beyond that. Food-wise, there is exposure of the food that you eat at home. The 3-4 restaurants that were there as we grew up in Churchgate and in Flora Fountain, in Colaba, maybe Kemp's Corner. When you travel, when you go on holiday, where do you go? Your family, if you're wealthy enough, will take you abroad. I'm talking when I was young. Or you went to Mahabaleshwar, Mathiran, Pune, Khandala, Lonavala. But with the food show, I traveled India like I would never have traveled before. Unless somebody's got a travel bug and they really want to do a whole Bharat Darshan, would not travel the way we did. And I know my family and I know myself, and I probably would not have gone. Why would I go to Orissa, to Puri? Why would I land up going to small parts of Andhra Pradesh beyond the big cities? And hence, it exposed me to the greatness of Indian food, the variety that Indian food offers us, and that there is Indian food beyond biryani, butter chicken, and the food that is cooked in your home. And there are foods that need to be discovered, need to be propagated, and need to be promoted. And we need to try out so that we can develop a taste for these kind of foods. And trust me, it's not difficult because we all like masala, and all Indian food has masala in it. So it's not difficult to like, say, food from Bhubaneswar or food from, anywhere in the country. Not just Mughlai food and Chinese food and Muslim food.
All right.
Punjabi food. Yeah.
So any interesting food items that you've tried when you traveled all over? Something that we don't get to explore in Mumbai?
We don't get to explore most things in Mumbai. Today now, Now, with the industry, the food having become quite an important aspect of our lives, we have opened up with the online or with the bloggers and the digital media having opened up. We have the odd, say, Kerala restaurant. Take food from Kerala, for example. In Mumbai, there were hardly any Kerala restaurants, and they were meant for only those people who came from Kerala and missed their food. You and I did not go to a Kerala. My father never took me to a Keralite restaurant ever in my life.
Right.
There used to be one deluxe in Flora Fountain. There was one Star of Cochin at the other circle. Maybe a couple of things called Sneha and Madina at Bahim. But nobody went there. So even that food was undiscovered till the last decade or so, when the interest in food has grown tremendously. I think my show, which was launched in 2006, has a lot to do for it, because we went traveling, discovering Indian food. Not discovering for us. The food has always been there for thousands of years.
Right.
So Kerala food is one cuisine. Okay, now Kerala also, if you take Kerala, it's got three broad groups of foods in it. You've got the Kerala Hindu food, which is the Sadhya, the vegetarian Brahmin food. You've got the Kerala Muslim food, which is the Mapla food. And you've got the Kerala Syrian Christian food, which is Syrian Christian food distinctly different from Goan food or Bangladeshi Christian food or Tamilian Christian food, you know. So each state of ours, like I say, every 50 kilometers, the curry changes. And the dialect changes. And the water changes also. So yes, so I'll give you another example. So we were driving to Cherrapunji. Cherrapunji is in the northeast. It used to be famous because the maximum amount of rainfall in the country fell in Cherrapunji. And we were driving very hungry, stopped on the road because there was an old lady, and I tell this story to everybody, so I might be repeating the story to some people. There was an old lady selling something in a handi with rice next to it. It was chicken. And we asked her, what is this chicken called? She said, it's called Chera chicken. Now, I think she must have invented it, okay? But we were hungry. So, you know, when you're hungry, anything tastes good. So we sat over there and in beautiful surroundings, you know, hills, drizzle, wind, cold climate, and this woman has got this hot sigdi with this handi on it, with chicken cooking in it, and rice, hot rice. Then we got her to, it was so nice that we got her to cook it on camera. And there was nothing in it. 4 ingredients in this chicken. Pyaz, mustard oil, pepper, and some green chilies or something. But where will I ever get that kind of chicken again? It's so local, you know. So these are my little experiences, Dipesh.
Interesting. And I'm sure when you travel and when you get to eat food there, it's definitely different than even if that food is available in Mumbai. For example, Chinese, when we eat, that Chinese is not what you get in China.
Of course not. And I'm sure that if you ate that food in China, you'd never be able to eat that Chinese food also.
Absolutely.
But if you go to Tangra is an area outside Calcutta, in Calcutta actually. That is where Indian Chinese food started.
Okay.
And if you go there, it's still that old-fashioned Chinese food, which now about 2 or 3 restaurants in Mumbai serve you. Like Camling, which shut down, used to serve you. Ling serves you a bit of that food, you know. But you get proper chili chicken dry with Calcutta style chili chicken dry with American chop suey, sweet and sour prawns, sweet and sour pork, you know. So I just call it Indian food only. I don't call it Chinese food.
Yeah. Indo-Chinese.
Chindian.
Chindian, okay. Cool. So, Kunal, we all know what's happening because of the pandemic to all the restaurants and fine dining restaurants today. I know that they are going through a tough phase, just like a lot of businesses, but here, since we are talking about food.
Yeah.
So what I would like to know is, what do you think is the future of the restaurant and the fine dining industry So I don't want to call it post-COVID because I really don't know when that date is
Yeah.
post-COVID. So I'm saying in future, I mean,
Okay.
what do you think will be different or how they should handle?
Okay, at the moment, the future is, the immediate future looks terrible.
Correct.
And that is the truth, okay? If you just look at the figures right now in Bangalore, and these are cities that have opened. Mumbai still hasn't opened up really, okay? In Bangalore, only 19% of restaurants have opened up. 19% of 100% restaurants are open for business. I don't know how much business they're doing, but out of 100 restaurants, only 19 are open, and how many people are going, we don't know. In Delhi NCR, only 12% of restaurants have opened.
Oh my God.
Hyderabad, 21% have opened. Calcutta, 29% have opened. And Chennai, only 9% have opened. I think in Mumbai, not even 0.5% of restaurants are open. Okay. Out of the sort of, so if you take an average of this, out of the 83% of restaurants that have opened for business, 10% of restaurants have already shut down permanently. Because of the nature of our, or rather the cost of our rent structure, rent being so prohibitive in Mumbai, nobody can afford to have 6 months and with no future in sight. I think some of the older restaurants which own their properties may be able to survive. But 83% have shut down and they're anticipating another 30% to shut down, not reopen at all. So 43% of restaurants are probably shutting down completely, is what it appears. But once we are completely clear of this, then like everything else, we will restart. And if rents were cheaper in Mumbai, I think we would have seen a slightly different picture. Is what I'm not a businessman, so I'm just assuming this. Okay. So that is the situation that is there. But once we are clear of this, 100% clear. Okay, I'll give you a simple example. I went to Bandra, has a restaurant called Tawa Restaurant. Tawa. I was passing by and I stopped to pack some food from there. And he's got an open seating thing. And I asked him, can I come and sit here and eat? So he says, "Haan, chalega." So some people behind doors are doing some sort of, slight opening, but there was nobody there. I mean, afternoon on a weekday, 1:32, it should have been packed with people, no? Nobody there. It's sad. It's very, very sad actually what has happened.
Yeah. It is sad indeed. Yet I know that once things are better and once things start becoming normal, a lot of new opportunities will open up and a lot of new businessmen or entrepreneurs would like to venture into food business. So my question to you is, can you give some ideas or recommendations for people in future who would like to set up or get into food business and do something different instead of opening a typical regular fine dining restaurant? I mean, when I'm saying this, I'm thinking of, for example, in US, when I used to live there, I used to go to Chinese restaurants called the Super Chinese Buffet. And they had 150 to 200 items on their buffet. And they're actually huge and massive and very inexpensive, like $4 and you can eat unlimited. So some concepts which you think that can work in a place like Mumbai, your recommendations?
Okay. I think there is a place for every concept of Mumbai. Anything new that you do, as long as the quality of food is good and the price is correct, I see no reason why we should not work out. Like you're talking about this Super Chinese, which is all over America. Yes. New York for $3, $2, you can get one soup and you can go and it's like all those. You go to Visakhapatnam, for example. Local Vizag food, Andhra Pradesh food. They have a very strong takeaway business over there, where you go and same thing in a glass showcase, stainless steel handis of this dish, and you go along. One portion this, two portions this, tick, 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 tick. End of the thing, you go and pay and you walk out, which is something Mumbai does not have.
Yeah.
Okay, and it should be done at a medium price level, not an expensive, because as an expensive price level, I will not go out and stand in a queue in the first place.
Correct.
Okay, but in business, in office areas, in industrial areas, where there is a Nariman Point, BKC, Lower Parel, if there are 2 or 3 places like this open air, you will need a little more space. Not open air, I mean slightly open, like a hall. I think that's not a bad idea to do. Also, I think we should, anybody trying to get into the food business has to do something slightly different. Whether it is in the food, whether it's in the personality of the restaurant, whether it is in just the concept, you know. But at the end of the day, the food has to be good. If the food is not good, your concept will go out the window, whatever it is. You know?
Of course.
That's what.
So in fact, when you were
one additional business which has actually thrived in this COVID time is the takeaway business. So people are doing ghost kitchens, cloud kitchens, and completely purely takeaway. Are doing quite well. They've done about 70-80% of their business is there still.
Right.
Yeah. So that's, I think, another place where people who want to invest, I think people should look for now low cost, high quality investments. So yeah, your overheads are not out of the sky, and volumes are there. That's what I think.
And I'm sure these kind of kitchens can be done in not so prime area, in industrial estates.
You don't need them. Yeah. You know, I'll tell you, I had a relative who started a really nice, I'm not going to name the brand, but a really good food brand, okay? And purely takeaway and purely advertised online. Very, very interesting. Now, he was in Bandra, and his delivery footprint was not reaching Prabhadevi where I live. Yeah. So I called him and I said, listen, I want to order this. I'll come and pick up the food. So he said, I said, no, tell me where your restaurant is. I'll come, or your kitchen is, or whatever. So he said, okay, you come to Pali Market and you can, over there, outside this shop, I will have the delivery boy waiting for you. I said, but I want to see your kitchen. So then very sheepishly, it was a lovely kitchen, no question about it. But it was inside, where the real estate is not, it's not front facing nor road facing. And in a really small place, he was producing the lovely food. So your big component is rent of most people, most food business. If that is taken care of, the rest, then you can, and you get make good food, you will definitely make money. You know, if you can keep your cost down.
Absolutely, and that's a good idea, and I'm sure immediate future that can definitely work, because in the lockdown people are tired of cooking and cleaning, and suddenly a lot of people are ordering food online, and these food delivery apps are doing a fabulous job. So I'm sure a lot of new businesses can come up in these fashion.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, in fact, when you were talking about the restaurant in Kerala which had a spread and you just take whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Visakhapatnam.
Yeah, Visakhapatnam. So I remember suddenly in my US university outside, there was a small Chinese place, and you could take whatever you want in those foam boxes, and you pay at the end by the weight. So you pay $2 per pound. So if you've taken 1.5 pounds, then you pay $3, and white rice is free, unlimited. Such a fabulous concept, especially for students, we poor students, you know. So these kind of things.
Great, yeah. And especially in, forget Bombay, in other cities which have a little more space, you know. Like the Visakhapatnam place, I picked up the food, went to the beach. There were benches on the beach. We sat over there and ate the food. People who places where there are gardens and all, you can take that food nice in nice styrofoam packaging or whatever is sort of some green packaging, and you sit outside somewhere and eat. What is the big deal? You know, in a public place.
Nice, absolutely. So I want to switch gears a little bit, and I would like to ask you a little about the show that you do with Cyrus. So if you could tell us a little bit more about the equation that you and Cyrus share, and a couple of fun. I mean, 24 hours you guys must be having fun, I know, but a few things that people don't know. If you could share, it would be fun.
Okay, I'll tell you about the show first of all.
Yeah.
The show was the idea, of course, was Rajdeep Sardesai, who used to run this channel earlier called CNN IBN, which is now CNN News 18. He's moved on. And like most ideas happen, I think great ideas happen in the bar. So we were at the Bombay Gymkhana bar, Cyrus and I, and Rajdeep walked up and said, look, I've got this idea. We want to do this thing. Blah, blah, blah. And we both jumped onto it because it was something that we've been wanting to do for the longest time. So we started off. I think there was no show of that kind on Indian television, and there still isn't actually. The show is now 14 years old, and we've done over 700 episodes.
Wow.
So it's still going strong. And the thing about the show is that we pull the legs of politicians. We've done it up to now quite safely without getting into big trouble. I've had people like, say, Nitin Gadkari coming up to me at an event saying, come here. And a full panic happened. Okay? I said, look, actually, something I've done, because I play him quite often, you know. I have often played him. And he said, I've been watching your show. And look, I have lost so much weight, and you're still making fun of me, which is such a sweet statement to make, you know. And so, like Chidambaram has walked up to us and said, I've been watching you all carefully. I like your show. You know. Prakash Javadekar, who's the information broadcasting, actually made a statement, anti-Rahul Gandhi statement, saying that who does Rahul Gandhi think? He's Cyrus Brocha. This is not a show. This is real politics. You know? So we've had then we've had a criminal defamation case on our heads, which we panicked completely, which was filed by the late Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Jayalalitha, which means we could not go to Chennai for 3 years. We got panicked, and they'll arrest us in a criminal defamation case, which is over, thankfully. So we did a huge gag on Kapil Dev once, and Kapil Dev was very upset. And we have this rule: if anybody gets upset, we go and apologize, because our idea is not to upset anybody. Our idea is to have a bit of fun. If you get offended, sorry, boss, we will apologize to you. That's a good system. It's like people who are married know this. Best way to have a peaceful home is go home and apologize to your wife. So we follow the same system.
I thought it was a little more sporty, no?
Who?
Kapil Dev. I thought a sportsman. I thought would be a little more sporty.
Yeah, think about it. You think about that. Yeah, it's possible that some people don't like. And we are not out to offend anybody, so we like to have fun.
Yeah, although you guys are dangerous, okay?
Yeah. But look,
together.
Yeah, but humor has a. Well, I'll be really honest. He's funny. Cyrus is funnier than I am. Okay, and you will find through this chat also that there are not moments where I break into jokes, but he can do it a la second, you know. Every second he can give you a joke. I tend to get slightly more lectury and serious, and but I think I write funnier than I speak funnier. So that's how we balance it out. And
nice.
I can make more faces than he can make faces. So okay.
Cool. Yeah. I can see a lot of people are asking questions, but before I take these questions, I have one final question for you.
Okay.
Kunal, what was your foodgasm moment?
That's a tough question.
You can name 2 or 3, okay?
Okay, so I'll tell you what really turns me on. What really turns me on is a really good mutton biryani. And I know it sounds very simplistic. That अरे क्या यार बोल के mutton biryani बोल रहा है तू. But boss, to make a good mutton biryani needs a lot of love, lot of good meat. Rice has to be correct, the flavors have to be correct, the fragrances have to be correct, the onion has to be fried properly. So it's a great, and I have traveled all over the country eating biryani. And I go and I try the biryani, and try the biryani, and try the biryani, and try the biryani. And I've had 2-3 good experiences. Like for example, I still think Mumbai makes the best biryani. Yeah? The 2 or 3 places in Mumbai make really good biryani.
Mm-hmm.
Hyderabad, 1 or 2 places make really good biryani. Lucknow, contrary to perception, Lucknow traditionally doesn't have a biryani. They have pulaus. So if you talk to a true Lucknow wala, he'll say, हमारे लखनऊ में बिरयानी नहीं बनती, हमारे लखनऊ में पुलाव बनता है. So that is one foodie-gasm moment. And the other food that really turns me on is the food that I don't get very often because I live alone. It's food from my own community and my whole ghar ka khana. We are a small community called Pathare Prabhus, and we have a very distinctive cuisine. And because now our community has dwindled, my mother, grandmother have all passed away, and including my maid of 50 years, who was my cook for 50 years, she's also passed away. It's very difficult to get a really good traditional Pathare Prabhu meal. So if I get an invitation to somebody's house, I never say no.
Cool. All right. So, with that, Kunal, is it okay if we take a few questions?
Yes, of course.
So, somebody is asking, can there be food tourism like an idea developed?
Yes, there is food tourism as an idea developed. I know at least 3 people who are doing it on a small scale in Mumbai itself. So there is a guy called Kalyan who started it, Kalyan Karmakar. He's a leading food blogger in Mumbai. He started a thing called the food walks, you know. So he takes a bunch of people through areas. So let's do old heritage fort area. And he takes you from one place to another, explaining the area, and you stop at 3, 4, 5, 6 places maybe and eat and taste the food. They also do the Muhammad Ali Road walk, where you go into the best 5, 6 places in Muhammad Ali Road. There is one in Dadar, where you go to 3, 4, 5 Maharashtrian places. So these are, it's a form of tourism only. And a lot of people book his walk tours online before they come to Mumbai. And some of them are Mumbaikars who've not discovered Mumbai. Some of people who moved to Mumbai and want to discover Mumbai. Some are foreigners. Similarly, these walks exist all over the world. They're there all over the world, you know. And I know at least 2 travel agents who are actually promoting Italy, like rural Italy as a food destination, and taking you from village to village, where you spend one night here, there, etc. You know, there are even in France and in England, England, Scotland, Wales, everywhere, there are bed and breakfasts which have Michelin star restaurants. So small, tiny, but people travel all the way to stay, to soak in the scenery, and then eat a really good meal. So yes, there is, I think, people who in the tourism business, I don't know how many people here are in the tourism business. I think it will work. Today, the interest in food is so good, so much, thanks to MasterChef and all that kind of stuff, and television, that food tourism is, and it's not really happened in India in a large way. So there's a big opportunity here.
Nice. The next question is, any scope for mushroom farming as food suppliers to hotels, etc.?
Mushroom farming? Mushroom, of course. There is, I mean, of course, this is when hotels open up, because all suppliers are in trouble right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know the details of mushroom farming, but there is a huge, if you go to food hall, you'll see the varieties of mushroom available in food hall right now. You know, right from enoki to everything. Everything is available. So there is a market. It may be a niche market, um, but I'm sure there will be an institutional market as well for this.
Cool. What is the future of food trucks in Mumbai?
Well, that we'll have to ask this question to the Bombay Municipal Corporation, because I know of several people who want to do it, but have found it difficult to do. There is one area, privately owned area in Juhu, where they have tried to do it. So that I think that parking lot, you know, opposite the Ramada, there was I don't know how the economics of that works, but yes, I think it'll be great. If you all remember, I don't know how many people were in Mumbai in the 80s and the 80s and the late 80s, but all those Chinese stalls outside the Oberoi, Nariman Point, and were all food trucks. The trucks never worked and they became permanently stationed. There is another story, but they were food trucks. Mafco were food trucks. Mafco stalls were all food trucks.
Oh.
They became permanent stalls.
Interesting.
So, you know, so that's what. I think there's a big scope for food trucks.
Yes, and I think they should be promoted. And like for example, I love the food trucks in Manhattan. The food is cheap, and I think it's far more hygienic than a restaurant because they have to go through more stringent checks and random checks.
And they're making the food in front of you.
Yes.
And they're making the food in front of you.
Fresh.
In fact, where our studios used to be, which is in Empire Complex and in Kamala Mills on Lower Parel, some enterprising young people, because this is our privately owned property, had brought and parked a couple of food trucks. You know, but of course, it's not sufficient business for just one Empire Complex to give. So I don't think it, and also the food was not great between you and me. But yes, I think we should. But the Bombay Municipal Corporation has to help us. You can't, you know, be multiple permissions, people coming for haftas and all happens, then you're not be able to run anything.
I agree. Yeah. All right. So somebody put an interesting comment. I'm starting a cloud kitchen serving Awadh cuisine in Pune and one in Thane. Chefs are from Kanpur. Top quality and hygiene will be maintained. How do you think it will do?
It will do well. One, Thane is a very growing market. Thane, Pune is already a far more discerning market for food than Mumbai is. I find the Pune restaurant, everybody who's opened in Mumbai has first tried out in Pune, and the response in Pune seems to be always better than the response in Mumbai. But Mumbai audiences, I think, really, how do you say, sometimes I think they're too traditional. Only the younger generation goes out and does things. Yeah, Awadhi food is great. You're being safe because it is Indian food. It's got all your Indian, you know, it's not like you're trying to bring Peruvian food in. But I see no reason. And it's a cloud kitchen, which means in Thane and Pune, your overheads are less, so you can concentrate on your quality and your chef and the food. Please, I implore you to do good packaging and do a good promotion campaign, which will. I see no reason why it should not work.
Awesome. So good luck, Santosh.
Yeah, good luck. Oh, great. Santosh, I saw this. Santosh Kulkarni. Which Santosh Kulkarni is this? I know one Santosh Kulkarni used to work in food.
Okay.
Are you the same Santosh Kulkarni who knows me? Have we met? Yes, from the Bombay gym. Oh. Correct, I know you. Yeah.
Small world.
Okay.
All right. So somebody is asking your comment on how is Chote Mia, Bade Mia food?
I've never been there. Bade Mia food, I mean, Bade Mia, the Kulaba Bade Mia?
That's what, so I don't know if there is a Chote Mia, Bade Mia. I thought there's one Bade Mia.
I know only of Bade Mia, and between you and me, I'm not a big fan. But it's a great food at 2 in the morning when you're drunk. But when you're sober, I'm not sure about it. But yeah, how is Chote Mia? I've never eaten. Uday Chhatre is asking this question. I don't know. Sorry, Uday, I've never been to Chote Mia, and Bade Mia I've been to. But
all right. So I'm just going.
Yeah, I just quickly want to answer Dheeraj. Jaikar, he says Jaikar is opposite of flat in Courtview. I've been to the house. They're related to me. Jaikar. Rajan and Ketki Jaikar are related to me. So we're all related, man. Okay. Yes. Aarti Nimkar is saying she's a Patel Prabhu from maternal side. Please invite me. I'll come.
I was just
Harkar lo bujra khaila.
Cool. And Vikash has asked a question, can we have Cyrus Bharucha someday on this webinar?
I don't see why not. Of course we can.
Cool. And Vikash again has put a comment, can you introduce IB to a few great restaurants who will give special discounts to our members?
Oh, yeah, why not? I mean, most restaurants are shut right now. But once it opens up, I think the restaurants will be very happy to give discounts to the members who are going to come regularly and eat there.
Nice. So we have a member, Mr. Arvind Tandon, who actually originally had a travel business, and he just put a comment, at least 20 jobless travel agents have set up food business in COVID times.
Well, not only travel, I know fashion designers, jewelry makers, and other people who've started doing some very interesting business food-wise. I don't know how successful they are, but their food looks interesting.
Yeah.
Everybody, I mean, I must tell the story of mine. So, as I'm not trying to sort of get compassion here, but because I live alone, food became a major issue once the lockdown happened. Yeah. And my cook, who lives 4 buildings down, said, "Don't worry, I'll send you a dabba every day." So I said, "Great, send me the dabba." 1 week later, her building got locked down because they found some COVID cases in her building. And this was around the beginning, April. Yeah. So you know how it was. The lockdown means bloody lockdown. Now I'm here stuck in the house. I have no intention of cooking for one person. It's just too much of a pain. Besides, who's going to buy provisions and go get bhaji, pala, mutton, chicken? Who? So I was wandering in my compound, only wondering what to do, and I saw the watchman eating food over there. And we never do this, I asked the watchman, "This food that you're eating looks really nice. Gharguti, chapati, bhaji, non-veg." He said, "That lady across the road, she is sending me a dabba every day." So I called up this lady. I said, "Anybody understand Marathi? Will you send me a dabba?" She said, "Yeah." "What do you eat?" I said, "I eat this, but I need non-vegetarian food in my dabba every day. If not chicken or mutton or fish, I need eggs at least." So she said, "Okay, I'll send you 3 chapatis. Those big Varanasi chapatis are big and full of tail. So, 60 rupees a day.
Awesome.
60 rupees a day. So my whole month's bill is cheaper than my one takeaway. At 2 months, I ate that food. Then I got bored of it, is another story. But I ate that food every day it would come. It was enough for 2 meals. 60 rupees. Why can't we try and look for food like that?
Absolutely.
My cook, my maid, who lives across, has a stall. She's got a roadside stall outside Belmont at Prabhadevi, or whatever, Beaumont, where Deepika Padukone lives, outside that building. And she sells mutton, chicken, bhaji, fish, chapati every day. And she's clearing a hell of a lot of, she makes a decent living out of it. And that's the food that we should, and it's Gharguti food, it's home style food. I'm a big fan. I'm talking too much, no?
No, we're having fun. And somebody's making fun of you.
Who's making fun of me?
He said, "Great fan of yours, Kunal sir, beyond doubt. Just out of curiosity, I want to know, have you actually read all the books in the background?"
In the background? Now, for those who want to know about the books in the background, it's a fake background. I just look intellectual. It's not real. It's a fake background.
All right, guys.
If you want, I can give you some books from here. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to take one last question. Hi, Kunal, a question related to the show business. What is the popularity of what? But we remember videos, songs, and shows from 90s but a video with 100 million views, we forget in a week or so. Also, why don't we see more of you on Facebook and Instagram?
Okay, I'll answer the
Facebook. Yeah.
I'll answer the last question first.
Yeah.
Cyrus and me both took to Facebook and Instagram a little late. Okay, we are not very technologically savvy. I mean, I did not have a smartphone for a very long time. You know, till I was forced by family saying, "What is this nonsense? Get yourself a smartphone." You know. So hence we are late, and we would like to be on digital and on Instagram, and we are trying to do it, but I think it's a very different medium, and we haven't yet licked it. We haven't got the hang of it completely. Yes, that's the first one. Your first part of the question is, how do you forget? You forget because the songs are not good. Very simple. If they were good, you would remember the songs. And times have changed. The whole revenue system has changed. In the old days, the movie used to run for 25 weeks, 75 weeks, 100 weeks, 100 days, whatever. Today, they make more money in a weekend than Sholay made sitting over there for 7 years in Minerva Cinema, you know. So it's all, the whole revenue model is all changed. So that is one. But if anybody wants to help us, help Cyrus and me do some digital work, I will be very happy to listen to advice and take help. Digital as in Facebook, social media. Help us properly with social media.
Cool.
I'm open.
So with that, we've run out of time. So there are a few more questions, but
I'll take 2-3 questions. If you want to quickly take, we can take them.
Please accept question from woman entrepreneur to start and expand business as no job. So I didn't understand the question. Oppo A3s. I thought I'll take the question from the woman entrepreneur, but so what is your question?
Okay.
Sorry. I'll move to the next question. Hey Kunal, what's
another question here?
Did you understand the question, Kunal?
No, I have not. So I'm just sending my email to everybody. Anybody wants to, because if somebody wants to connect me with that, amplify my digital presence, etc. So I'm just sending my email to everybody who have.
Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah. Please write to me. Don't send fan mail, but. Yes. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So with that, I'll ask Vivek to give some Vikash to give some closing comments.
Cool.
Vikash.
Hi, this was really wonderful. Just a sec.
Yeah.
Wonderful pre-lunch talk. I'm already hungry.
Are you having a drink? Lunchtime drink?
Don't ask me on a public platform. I used to never drink at home, but in this lockdown, I have it twice a day.
Excellent. Like me.
Like you. Okay, so we got to meet up soon then. So, you know, food as a business, I always relate to the business side of things. I'm not an actor or a guy like him or a blogger. I love to see the business side of everything. And I do understand this part that the restaurants have shut down or shutting down. Actually, they're right now all shut down. The question is going to be how many will resurface, how many will open again, which you already mentioned some statistics also. So I'm waiting to see that, but I think it's going to be in the next year. They cannot open this year. Even if COVID recedes a bit, where are the people to come and sit there and eat and pay for it? It won't even be 10% of the capacity. So that is the business situation as far as food is concerned. And I hope it improves. Thanks a lot again. This was a wonderful session.
Thank you, Vikas. Thank you, Dipesh.
And I would like to quickly invite Priya to give her closing remarks.
Thanks a lot. hour just flew away. So it was very interesting conversation with you. Let's connect once everything starts. And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you to you, Kunal. It was really a pleasure to host you.
Bye.
And thanks a lot for giving us the time. We had a great time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So did I. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.